Hi, I'm Amanda Mikulev, and thank you for joining us today on the Fitness Mindset Podcast. Each episode, I'll bring on guests that will discuss topics encompassing all things fitness, nutrition, mindset related, and even at times relationship stuff too. This show is sponsored by Kyani and the Triangle of Health, the only whole food supplementation system I take, which fuels my day to achieve both fitness and task-orientated goals. Make sure you subscribe now to be the first to know when a new episode has been released. Enjoy this week's episode. Guys, welcome back to episode 39 of the Fitness Mindset Podcast. I'm here with one of my good friends, Beck Simon. So Beck is, what would you say you are, Beck? You're like a stay-at-home mum come global entrepreneur. It's a bit of a mouthful, but you know.
Sounds good.
You're one of those women that I really, really respect. And the reason why is because, I mean, obviously we are in business together, but we've also developed this really lovely friendship. I think we think the same because we're so no BS, I guess. You know,
yeah.
We've worked very, very hard to get to where we are. Anyway, look, I'm interested to allow everyone to get to know you more, where you've come from, where you are now, and what happened in between all of that. So I guess take us back and then take us forward.
Absolutely. So, yeah, like Amanda said, my name is Rebecca Simon. I'm originally from Adelaide, Australia. And me and my husband, we owned a cabinet making business. So we were in the building industry for 13 years. So we just working to the grind, living paycheck to paycheck, all the usual things that, you know, everybody does in life, you know, and just, I guess, just living one week to the next, feeling a little bit like a robot, just getting by. And I'm a mum of two beautiful little girls, Morgan and Denver. And so that's sort of where we were in the early days.
So you're living paycheck to paycheck, but I mean, wasn't Mike in this multi-million-dollar kind of construction business? I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Absolutely. It is. We had a very successful business back in Australia. We had a really good name in the building industry and everybody wanted us. And it was Michael and his cousin that owned the company, but we always knew that we wanted to expand. We always had big dreams, big goals, you know, and so we got a coach. We got a business coach in to help us grow that business. And we took that business from two cousins to, I think we had about 20 staff working for us out there growing a business. And, you know, that was an emotional roller coaster just in itself. That was, you know, go through the highs and lows of business, global financial crisis, going back down to only two people again. But that was really the start. When we owned a business, it was the start of our personal development journey. And that was probably now 16 years ago, I think, we started that business and started our personal development journey.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, I mean, once you kind of paid, I mean, how many staff did you end up with when the business was peaking? How many staff did you have under you?
Probably around about 20 or so under us. So that was like 20 sites going on around the place. Yeah, it could be high-rise apartments, residential homes, anything.
Yeah.
And so in the meantime, I'm looking after the kids, never get to see my husband, completely time poor. You know, with owning a really successful business comes some really cool cars and mortgages, unfortunately. You know, we tend to live above our means sometimes. And so when we say paycheck to paycheck, although we were successful, we wanted the nice house and cars and so forth. And so you kind of spend that money as you get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So at what point did you kind of go, like, we think, although we might have it all, something is still missing?
Yeah, I guess it was when we did have the kids, and that was when Mike was leaving home at 6, getting home at like 6, 7. Kids go to bed by 7:30, and then it was just a repeat. And every year I just felt like a photocopy of the year before. And so Mike and I were like, you know what? Something has to change. If something doesn't change, nothing is going to change. And next year will be another photocopy of this year. And so we thought we need to work smarter and not harder. And so that's when we kind of looked into, I guess, the online space. And we're like, that must be where it's at. And so we looked into things, and we don't kind of dabble. If we do something, we give it a good go, you know, so we know if it works or not. And so we tried some it was like affiliate marketing. We tried some drop shipping. I mean, we're talking years ago now. It's so common now, but back then it wasn't. And we tried network marketing. I think we made $13 a month after 3 years. So we tried lots of different things. Nothing seemed to work. All we knew that worked was going back and working hard, and harder than ever before, to try and grow our business again. And then only probably just over 5 years ago now, we were really lucky, I guess, to be approached to launch a health and wellness company across 50 countries. So I said to my husband, if you join, I'll kill you, after our last experience. And he said, no, I'm not listening to you, because I've done my research, and this is different. This is amazing. This is where the good guys can win. So I was like, all right, you do it, but please don't expect wifey to be involved. And and then I guess within 5 months, he had replaced our yearly income into a monthly income. So I guess within 7 weeks, I noticed, okay, there's a little bit more than $13 a month coming in. And that's when I guess I jumped on board, told a few of the mums at school what I was doing, and working around the cracks of my schedule and just with the kids. And then that's when we kind of went on to, I guess, semi-retirement, really, in 5 months. And so that's been the last sort of 5 years. So I've just
I mean, I'm curious. I'm curious for everyone to know. So, like, a couple of questions, and then you can just answer all of them. Where do you get your ambition from? Were your parents like you? And how old are you and Mike? Because you're not that old.
Yeah. Looks can be deceiving, but so I've just turned 43, and Mike's just turned 40. Yeah. And Mike had a goal that he was going to be retired by 35. And so we were like, God knows how that's ever going to happen. And then, I think he was 34 when we were approached to be a part of the business. And he actually made it. It's amazing the power of manifestation. And so, crazy. And so I come from a very poor upbringing, I guess. I mean, not poor, but, my mum worked in a factory when I was younger. My dad stayed home. He was an alcoholic, and so kind of worked on and off, but not really. I was the oldest child to pick up some of the pieces, and so that really sort of gave me that nudge to go, I want to do better than this. And my mum was the most amazing human being, because she always encouraged me, get out of this, do better. So, I had my first job when I was 12, riding around on my bike, collecting the money for the newspaper. 15, I got a job at Target. And then it just went on. I got a government traineeship when I left high school, and was working in admin in a hospital. So I really was just in the corporate world, working my way up straight after school. And Mike left school at 16 and was a cabinet maker. So no one special.
So you both have had, fair to say, very humble beginnings, and almost sounds like similar pathways, or even mentalities that, you're not afraid to get your hands dirty, and you've always had to come back to your original roots of, you've got to do whatever it takes to get to a level of success and ultimately contentment as well.
Yeah, I call it like ripping off a Band-Aid. Let's just rip it off. Let's get it done. Yeah. And then, hopefully get to live an amazing life afterwards. And we kind of did. When we saw an opportunity, we kind of just ran with it. And then, we've kind of, and we grew that to be a multiple 7-figure income in that business. We obviously were very successful in our cabinet making business. And that kind of, so then we were just going along in life, and that was great. That was 5 years ago. Then 3 years ago, we decided to make a big decision, and we decided to move to an island in Fiji, and that's where we live now. So now we get to live in Fiji and live an amazing life. And
doesn't Tony Robbins live in Fiji? Tony Robbins lives
on the same island. Yeah. So his resort in Namali, where he does a lot of his health retreats, is literally like 30 minutes from here.
So have you ever been there?
Yes, I stayed there probably 14 years ago when I actually did his university mastery and went all over the world and followed him like many, many years ago. At the very start of our personal development journey, we jumped on the Tony Robbins train, and that's how we ended up in Mali. And who would have thought that this many years later we'd actually be living on that very island? Like, I'm a homebody. I don't leave Adelaide, like I'm a security blanket person. So what I guess personal development has taught me, and going through the motions of success, is that anything is possible, and just to get out of your comfort zone and to dream big. And you're born and you die, and I've got this mentality now that after seeing family members pass away and things like that what, just go out and just try things. Do stuff. If you want to dream to live there, or go live there, even if it's just for a month to see, just try anything and just give it a go, because you just never know.
Yeah, I'll tell you a quick story. So I'm all for that as well, because, as a 20, like through my 20s, it was only until my late 20s that I discovered what I wanted to do kind of as a career, which I'm still doing. And I had multiple jobs, from painting to limo driving to working for the government to working in a milk bar, working for Kmart, retail, you name it, I've done it, hairdressing, the whole gamut. And my mum always said to me, you're a Jackie of all trades and a master of none. And I said, someday I'm going to prove you wrong. And so, one of my mentors also said, how do you know what you want to do with the rest of your life? Just do stuff, do a lot of different things, and just, it's a process of elimination and getting rid of what doesn't resonate with you. Because with that as well, like 10 years ago, hairdressing was it for me. 10 years later, it's coaching. And that's the beauty of life, is that we go through these ebbs and waves, and we evolve, and things matter differently to us in time. And that's how we ultimately, I guess, find our purpose, is we've just got to try so many different things.
Absolutely.
And I really encourage certain people as well, like, don't stay in the same job for 20 odd years. If you can, get out every 2 years and just go to different locations at the very least. So now, since you've been obviously in this wellness company, and you've been on the island for the last 3 years now, has life ultimately improved for you? Like, how's life different being on an island?
Life is so different, I guess. Just simple things like just going to your local shop and buying some broccoli. It's like, you don't get broccoli here, things like that. You live by what's in produce. We are attempting to try all different things to grow our own. But what I love about it is the fact that I've got this freedom. I'm around the happiest people in the world. I love the people here in Fiji. They're just happy, very happy people. Yep. I don't have to keep up with everybody. I can just be here with the kids and just, I guess, not live how society expects me to live.
You don't have to keep up with the Joneses.
You got to go to work, you got to pay your taxes, you got to drive a certain car, you got to live in a certain destination. And yes, we live in Fiji and it's amazing, but that comes with some sacrifices as well. Obviously I don't see, well, right now in the last year I haven't seen friends and family, except for, thank God for the online space. But we get out and about, and we travel around the world quite a bit usually. And so it's giving my kids a different upbringing. That was one of the main drivers for living here. They were turning into spoiled little shits, and so we were like, nah, we are not having this.
Yeah. So do you find that? Do you find that being in that community in particular, that they've learned to be a lot more humble?
Oh, they're amazing. Well, there's no real shops here. It's not like, Mum, can I have a Barbie doll because we're in, one of the shopping malls? There's no shopping malls. We've got a local market. We've got a basic, new old IGA supermarket. We've got a post office, a few random shops that sell, just really basic stuff. And you don't want for anything here. It's so hot. You can probably tell by my glow. It's just so hot all the time. And so, it's just literally just living my active wear normally. And it's amazing. I love it.
So would you say that you were like a bit more of a labels girl back in the day, and then you've really just changed since then?
Absolutely. Yep. I mean, obviously I came from a very humble upbringing. And then when I had success a few years ago, I think it kind of just went a bit like to my head. And it was like, oh, a $700 dress. Why not? And it got to the point where, I mean, I hate sharing this, but I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Like I would go to say like a store, fall in love with a top and go, oh my God, I love that top. And I'd take it home and I'd put it in my wardrobe. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, hang on, I've got that top already. It's still even got the tag on it. And so I found myself, and that's when me and my husband just woke up and just went, you know, this is crazy. Like, why am I doing this even? Like, who am I trying to impress here? And so, you know, I guess thanks to our personal development journey, it's easy when you have awareness around something, it's easy then to change something. A lot of the problems that go on in the world and where people get stuck or live in fear or can't get out of their comfort zone, it really just comes down to awareness, I think. Because when you are aware of that, you'll do something about it. But it's when you put it back to your mind and it just stays in your subconscious and you let that continually absorb you and you live by that and past experiences, then, you know, then you can't change. And so, yeah, we're just very aware of where we're at through that personal development journey.
I think that's a great message for people. And I'm very big for this as well, that you've got to know who you are when you don't have anything at all. So at any moment, in a moment's notice, and you've experienced this recently, a cyclone can wipe out your land and take your car or your beautiful crop or your house. And it just literally
within 5 weeks.
Yeah, you know,
we've just had Cyclone Yasser, Cyclone Anna, and if you mix that with COVID, where everybody's lost their jobs here, and you know, because there's no tourism, so they go back to farming, planting, so they can eat. And so not only have they lost their jobs here, they've now lost their crops. They've lost a lot of their even livestock. You know, cows have drowned and pigs have drowned, and it's just people are just eating whatever they can get. And this makes me just feel even more blessed. Mike and I have done something for many, many years and practiced this one thing, and that's gratitude. And we do it at the kitchen table with the kids as we eat dinner. We go around the table and say what we're grateful for that day. And you know what? Every single one of us, every night for the last, 6 or 7 weeks that it's been since the 2 cyclones have been, since just before Christmas, sorry. We say every night, we are so, so blessed to be part of, that we had plan B, that we're in the online space, that we're, it hasn't really affected us at all. If anything, it's actually helped our business grow because people are now more open to opportunity, working smarter, working from home, and people are looking for all that. And so, and we've been really, really blessed, but obviously the people on the island not so. And so we're in a very, very good position where we were able to supply, 5 villages some food for Christmas Day.
Wow.
And help them clean up. Obviously, Mike comes from the building industry, so he was out there the day after the cyclone hit, and with his nail gun and putting on sheets of tin for roofs and things like that for people.
So is it pretty much all fixed up now? Like, has the island recovered as yet?
No, we've still got the army, military, Australian aid is still here. There's still people. School only just went back yesterday because people were living in the school. Their houses are gone. So obviously the water is slowly soaking into the ground now, but yeah, we're just back to slowly recropping here and building up our crops and stuff like that. So it's going to take a little bit of time to recover from this mess.
Sure. And were the army supplying food supplies and water supplies as well?
Yeah, but it's like it is. But when they hand over a bag to someone, you look inside the bag and it's like, okay, so there's like 2 or 3 days of some food. What happens after that?
Yeah.
How long does lettuce take to grow, or cassava or taro, or, just the things that they eat every day? Like that takes time. It's months. What do you do in between? And so it's fantastic that they're helping. But you know what I love about here, and it's something that's really taught me, is, you can have nothing in the world and you can be the happiest person, and the resiliency. We have a bad day at work and we're like, oh my God, doom and gloom, I'm going to bed, I had a bad day. And I look at these people and look at what they have, or actually what they don't have, and how they live, and they're happy and they're laughing every day, and their house is underwater and they're laughing.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, well, they're just resilient.
perspective. It's perspective. And I guess you don't know what you don't know. And if you're stuck in a rat race, like I've just moved up, obviously, from Melbourne to the Gold Coast, and I sold a lot of what I owned. I don't wear half the stuff that I used to wear because I can't, because it's hot. So like you, Beck, like, you know, I went from sort of lathering myself in Versace this and jewelry this, and the heat makes it hard to do that anyway. But I think coming here and seeing happier people and beautiful weather, and that's all a girl needs in life, I think. Like for me, I mean, I'm happy with that. I don't need too much more than that, you know. And even working hard, I guess I've got a different, and I don't know about you, but I've got a very different perspective on what hard work actually looks like these days, because we've got to also learn to stop and smell the roses and just enjoy life as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what we've done. So we've created, I guess, we've created two very successful businesses, and then so it's led us on to, I guess, starting our third business, which actually really only was like last year we started, and it's around exactly that thing. It's around you know, smelling the roses and balancing out your life. Mike and I noticed that one of the biggest things was people are stressed, which led to anxiety, which led to depression. And yes, we're in a stressful period as well. But, you know, I've really learned that, you know, to, I guess, only worry about the things that you can control. Okay. And so what we've done, I guess, with two successful businesses, all the personal development over 17 years, we decided to help other people with that. And so we created a company called the Lifestyler Company. And because I guess, and it's through experience, it's not just, hey, come to our coaching session, we're going to teach you how to simplify success, you know, but we haven't quite got there ourselves. You know, we've actually done it. You know, we've been through the trials and tribulations of owning two businesses now, and, you know, and the personal development on top of that, and going through the highs and lows of life. And so we kind of have gone, you know what, there's so much information out there right now. There's so many coaches in all different areas of life right now. And so we've kind of gone, you know, pulled things from different people over the last 17 years and gone, you know what, we actually think if we just do this, you know, like we love what we see, because I think confused people do nothing. And so there's a lot of confused people out there right now. And so I guess what we wanted to do is bring to the table how to simplify success. And when I say success, it doesn't have to be in business. Success could be a health goal. Success could be having a better relationship with your family. You know, success can mean all sorts of things. And so we designed this most amazing formula that simplifies success in all areas of your life. Because one thing that we found was when we were completely career driven, and I so tell the truth here, like that first year that we went in all in, like I remember one day my wake up moment was my kid said to me, "Mum, do you love your phone more than me?" And it was like, a dagger. And I was like, yeah, oh my God. And then my 13-year-old dog died, and I was going to see a new business client, and I was like, shit, the dog's about to die. Shit, I got this new client. Now I should have to this day cancelled that new client. Said, look, I've had a bit of an emergency. Can I reschedule?
Yep.
And I put business first, and I didn't realise the dog was going to die. I mean, I knew he wasn't well, so I dropped him to the vet, and I said, I'll be back in half an hour. And by the time I got back, he was gone, and he was like our first son. He's the only son I'll ever have. And I know he was a fur baby, but it's been like 4 years now, and I still.
Do you have regrets? Do you have regrets over that?
I think, you know, if you live with regrets, you know, then how can you move forward? You know what I mean? Like, I truly believe in you're your author of your own book, and you can create the next chapter. I think it's more of what did I learn? So I always ask myself, what did I learn from experiences? So, and how can I learn and grow from that so I don't do it again, rather than regret? You know, that puts me in a negative mindset. So I look at, okay, so what can I learn from that experience?
And so would you say that was kind of like that turning point for you to go, okay, yeah, look, it's all fine and well to work hard, but we're missing the milestones in life.
That's right. So that's when we sort of got into, you know, okay, so we need to balance life out. So we've been super successful, but we're missing puzzle pieces here. Like we are running around like crazy people. We're not enjoying life. We're not happy. Like, we're happy as in, like, I'm happy in my marriage and I love my kids, but it's like, life is out of control. And so that's when I got another coach, and I sat down and we worked out, okay, so how can I get my life back balanced? And that's when I came across that wheel of life. I don't know if you've ever done one of those, but it's like a little life audit. And so I had to scale myself out of 10 in each of the 6 areas of life, relationships, health, business, contribution, spiritual, what's the other one? I've forgotten, had mental blank, but
there's also charity, social life.
That's the contribution. Yeah, so I've got the 6 areas here inside my actual lifestyle planner that we developed. But so around the 6 areas of life, I just learned that, okay, so if I put one little item in each of those 6 areas of my planner, so I'll show you now because it's just easier. Yeah. So I've got my 6 areas. So this will say January. So in each of the 6 areas, so business, physical, relationship, personal growth and skill set, of course, and contribution and spiritual. And so I just put one thing in each of those areas at the start of every month, and I've got my little brain dump section here. And then what I worked out was, if I was to work in each of these areas, just tick off one thing, I can actually move by the time February comes around, I've pushed every area of my life just forward that little bit and improved each, and it can be something so simple. But then that goes into, you schedule that into your diary, those goals, and you get it done. And so this is like we developed this planner based on simplifying success. So basically, this helps us set up our vision and our mission. It sets up our 5-year plan, our 12 monthly goals, and then we're going to break them down into monthly goals. And then each week I've done your weekly goals. So so January has the weekly goals in it, so that you actually have got a step-by-step system. And we created some online videos for every step of the way to be able to help people, I guess, maximize the success from the planner. And so that's what we did. So, and then we decided last year, people kept asking me, what did we do to have success? And it's like, well, this is what we did. But then what I found out was there was just nothing out there, like no tangible thing. I can tell you what to do, but then you walk away and you've still got nothing in your hand. Or you're going to go to a news agency or Officeworks and you're going to try and find something that, you can do that in, or an app you can do it in, or a diary. And so we decided just to develop one ourselves. And
did it take you a while? Next minute you've got this giant-sized diary.
And we did it in March, which is the most hilarious thing.
Look how big it is. It's a beautiful diary. I love it.
It's leather bound. It's amazing. And like we developed it in March because I was looking for a diary in January. I'm a hard copy person. I really love to make notes, quotes. As I come across things, quickly journal. Like, I just love all that. And I need it in one space. Otherwise, I've got papers everywhere. I've got vision boards over here. I've got journals over here. It's just all too much. And so we developed it all in one place. And we thought, who's going to buy this? And it's, it's cost us a fortune to develop ourselves. And so it was ready in March. And we sold out of everything. In fact, one of the last ones sold in the month of October last year. So they had a couple of months left of the planner, but it still set them up. There was still 3 months of getting that routine and the habit in place, and still setting up their 12-month vision and 5-year, and still working. So by the time, let's say, January came this year, obviously it's no different. They're still just transferring the same
plans across.
Same plans across and continuing on. And so they so it's actually been a super successful business. And we've had coaches pick it up and use it with their clients. We've had of all walks of life, like health coaches like yourself. We've had life coaches, LP coaches, other companies who have big teams that want to really help their team succeed, and even just stay-at-home mums that just want to keep on top of stuff and still have still do their dreams. I
was going to say, so I mean, have you seen some of your business partners in your business achieve greater success since they've been really planning everything more effectively with the diary? Because it does provide a lot of structure, lots of structure. And you said one thing per section. I mean, I've got 400 things per section.
Whoa. You're a machine though, Amanda.
I've got some pretty big goals this year, Beck, let's face it. But full disclosure, if you want one of these diaries, use my code Amanda10 to get 10% off one of these diaries. come and DM myself and I'll hook you up with one of these. Honestly, they're beautiful. I love them. I was on the phone for a number of years putting everything in the calendar. And then when I saw this, I'm like, nah, I'm going to go back to diaries because I always did like a diary back in the day.
I had a phone die on me and like lost my calendar for that day, missed all my appointments. And then the other week, well, with cyclones, we had the power out here for a few weeks. So yeah, we run on a generator on those times that the power's out. But there was one time where the internet provider was down too because of the cyclone. So even though we still had power, we still had no internet. And then that made me realize, oh my God, thank God for this. I know exactly what's on in it, even though some of the meetings I couldn't get to, but I could ring a few people I guess I could send a bird or something, or put a message in a bottle. But at least I knew what I'd missed. And I just felt like, okay, that's not so important. They understand we're going through a cyclone. I'm sure they'll be fine. And so we were, I don't know, I'm just a hard copy person because I like to scribble notes and stuff like that.
You're just a hardcore woman, Beck, full stop. All right. Now, who are your 3 mentors? So if we look at the people that have had the most profound impact on your mindset, who are your top 3?
Well, our first introduction into personal development was Tony Robbins.
Yep.
And he's the guy that made us walk on fire. And I'll never forget that because I said to my husband, you make me do that and I'll kill you. I thought it was a cult the first day I went into one of his seminars because it was a 3-day one. And I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. Look at all these people going, woo-hoo. Yep. And then day 2, my husband goes, will you listen, please? Like, we've spent all this money to get here. I'm like, okay. And once I listened, I was just like, wow. And then I found myself crying, just having real emotional moments, just whoo.
Did you feel the fire underneath your feet, or was that just, did you transcend?
I was in such a state to prove myself and to I guess I felt like, Mike did it and he was like, okay. And then I felt like I was going to let myself down, to be honest, if I didn't do it. We come all this way to do this, to get out of our comfort zones, and good old negative Nancy me. It's like, no, can't do that. No, won't do that. Oh, you're not going to make me do that. And so it was kind of like something I went, I've got to do this. Yeah. And so I just went, you say this chant, like cool moss, cool moss, cool moss. And you just got to get yourself into a state and you've got to go cool moss. Cool. It must be the word cool so you don't burn yourself. I don't know, but I just went across. I was like,
how far was it? Like how long was it?
Quite long. I'd say, I'm trying to remember it now, but maybe like 10 or 12 steps.
Okay, that's a lot for fire. Hot coals.
Yeah. Wow. And then so Tony Robbins is probably one of my biggest ones. But I have kind of really gone into a little bit more left of field now. It's led me on to other things, and I guess one of my biggest mentors right now, and it is Gabrielle Bernstein. She's an author, but the book was called The Universe Has Your Back, and that book was literally, I think every chapter I was crying in. I went for a walk. I'd do my health. So in my goals, I would have this goal of like exercising 30 minutes a day, going for a walk, go for a jog. But what I did was, because I had personal development goals of learning and growing, I just combined the 2 goals together. It's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So while I'm, even when I drive to town, it's 20 minutes to town, I've got my earplugs in, I'm listening to an Audible book and learning. Yeah. If I'm hanging out the washing, you'll find my phone's tucked in. I'm learning as I'm hanging out washing. I just went for my walk. I listened to this book and I was just like, whoa, I loved it. And now I've gone on and I've read all of her books. So Gabrielle Bernstein, The Universe Has Your Back, amazing.
Tell me a bit about that book because that sounds really interesting. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget.
Yeah. She just taught, it's her journey, I guess. She was an alcoholic, and she just talks about, I guess, all the challenges that she faced, and then I guess her turning point. But then she talks about it's a mix of things like manifestation, law of attraction. If you say your language you use, it's got a lot of learnings in there. So if you say, oh my God, that's so hard, or oh my God, I can't do that, then you're going to get, the universe is going to give you more of that, things that you and so when you say, okay, so she teaches you, I learned, okay, so how can I do this?
Reframing,
and things like that.
so just reframing your
Reframe. So
language.
yeah, it's a really amazing story. You know, she talks about. I mean, it's a bit airy fairy for some people, but I love all the stuff around the universe and the energies, the law of attraction. You know, even to the angels and things like that. You know, I've even gone into that, and
Now
I
you're
could tell you
speaking
some
my
stories.
language, Beck. Don't
Now,
worry.
I could tell you some stories and be here all day on that.
Well, we can do that as another podcast, because
Yeah.
I love anything that's spiritual. I'm quite a sensitive person, so when you're vibrating at a much higher level, you that's sort of, you know, being in that realm of thinking and open to that, I guess, dichotomy, if that's what you want to call it. It's it's a whole other dimension,
a whole different way of living.
Yeah,
like, you know,
absolutely.
like, how did we get to Fiji? We manifested it. How did we, you know, there's things that have happened, you know, over here with some corruption, with some land we were buying, and we went through hell and back for like a year and a half. And so in the end, I was so upset and I was crying, and I was reading this book at that time, and I said, okay, I'm going to implement something that she taught me. And she said, pick a sign and ask for it, and ask that way you can actually say, is this my life's purpose, or is this the right land, or, you know, should I pull out of this land? So I said, you know, should I pull out of this land? You know, if so, and then I just thought of something, and I was like, okay, what can it be? Like a number, a butterfly, and I went, for some reason I said an owl. That's the first thing. I'm not even interested in owls. And I was like, I'm going to say owl. And then I said, okay. So I closed my eyes. I was like, okay, so please tell me, you know, if this is where I'm, you know, meant to live. And I just was really specific with the question that I asked, you know, give me the sign of the owl, please. You know, universe, give me the sign of the owl.
Yep.
And next minute, I got home from my walk, tears rolling down my eyes. And my daughter came running up to me and she said, Mum, can you read me a book? And I said, yeah, in a minute, hon. Just, you know, I'll just get a glass of water. And then went in there, and I sat down, and it was a book about an owl. And I was like, okay, that's coincidence. And then later on, I was like, is that coincidence? Is that coincidence? And then later on, I was just scrolling on Facebook a bit, having a bit of time out. And, you know, and next minute, this funny video of owls came up. So you know how sometimes people put funny videos up of animals? And there was this one about all these owls just doing different things. And then I was like, okay, that's weird. And then it was the third one. The universe must have known that I'm still not convinced. Maybe it's coincidence. And so the last one was it. Yeah, we were driving, and that wasn't another time. So this is that same day where then I picked up a magazine. There's a Fijian magazine, and I picked it up at the shop. And I was just like, oh, I've never seen this magazine before. And then as I just flicked it open to any random page, there was a story on that page about the rare Fijian owl. And at that point, tears just welled down. And I was like, okay, I'm meant to be here. I'm meant to be here. And so then I asked another question, you know, about, you know, should I pull out of this land? And then I got another owl sign, because I asked for the owl specifically. Yeah. Come to me.
That's fantastic. I'm going to try that. I'm definitely
it's amazing.
Try that
book is amazing. Yeah. And the third one, just to quickly finish, because I know you said 3, John Maxwell. I love him. His books too.
So give us a title.
Anything John Maxwell, like 15. Was it 15 levels of leadership? I think was a really good one. Yeah, and I can't remember his books. It's been so long since I've read them now, but but I know that I went through a phase. Yeah, I went through a phase of John Maxwell as well. Like when I was going through growing a business and I really wanted to learn about leadership, he's like a leadership guru.
And are you reading anything else at the moment, or not really?
Yeah, I'm reading one, don't laugh, but How to Talk to Your Angels.
No, hello. I'm like Miss Spiritual. I think that's epic, Beck. I just, you know, quick full disclosure to everyone out there, you know, be open to this part of yourself, because it's all within us, and it's a language that makes sense. So when you understand the spiritual realm and how it talks to you, you know, how the universe has your back, for example, and will send you very clear signs, listen to that and take that, because now this book here, The Universe Has Your Back, does that talk about, you know, how things can just abruptly end and things fall apart and they don't make sense at the time, and then, you know, it makes clear sense in months to come. You think, oh my God.
So I thought my life was like doom and gloom at one stage when we were over here, when we arrived. And I was like, oh my God, what have we done? We've given up our life. We've sold 3 houses, cars, boats, you name it. And now we're here. Like, this is crazy.
So why did you feel that way initially?
I just felt like everything was not going right. So we were originally moving to another island. Then that went under corruption. Luckily we got our deposit back, and they talked us out of buying that land. And we're like, shit, now where do we go? Then that's how. But not buying that land led us to here in Savi Savi. So we would never have found this place if we had have moved to that other island. Since we moved to Savi Savi, that exact resort that we were buying got hit with like 3 cyclones within like a week of us would have been moving there. So for me, it was like a sign of, I think the universe guides you. When you think that everything is not going well in life, right? It's because this is what I truly believe, and I know because this is my life has been just like this. It's because it's for a reason. Now, I know everybody says it, and I can't stand it when you hear everything happens for a reason, but I'm telling you now, if you are open to it, I said now when something really goes wrong, I go, okay, so what am I meant to know from this situation? Okay, there's a reason for it. I need to talk to myself or talk to my, my dad above, or talk to someone. And I say, okay, so what is it? I'm open, I'm willing, guide me, and I'll just go with the flow now a lot more. And so I decided our life when we moved to Fiji was like detouring. 1 minute we're buying this, no, next minute we're pulling out, next minute we're buying this. Okay, now we're settling on that land. Awesome. Okay, now shit's just gone bad. Now we're not, And so I said to myself, which led us to the most perfect destination in the world and the right deal and the right everything. And so I truly believe now that, obstacles are, I guess, opportunities to learn and grow from. And that I'm going to write a book one day. I've decided. I never ever thought I'd write a book, but one day I'm going to. And I said to Mike, my husband, I'm going to call it Detours into the Right Direction. Because, because it's about that. Your life goes in different detours. 1 minute, and you don't get that job offer, and you're like, oh my God, life is doom and gloom, and this is the worst, and we're stuffed. And then hear those words I'm saying, we're stuffed, life is doom and gloom. So guess what? You're going to get more of. And so I've just gone, okay, so we've hit an obstacle, we've hit a stumbling block. We need to sit down, we need to plan, we need to be open to opportunity, we need to be, think about this. I don't just a bit more and strategize. And then it's funny because then all of a sudden this random call comes in and they offer you this job and you're like, oh my God, that's my dream job. But so what if I had taken the other one? This wouldn't have happened. And so it really does happen, but you've got to be open to it, and you've got to really have awareness around, okay, so that hasn't worked. There's a reason for it. Why? Let's go through the motions.
Yeah. I don't know about you, Beck, but like I love listening to spiritual readings on YouTube. I'm a YouTube whore, love YouTube.
Yeah.
I listen to YouTube probably about 5 times a day minimum. So there's always something I'm listening to. I've found a particular reader online who no matter what general reading I listen of hers, she's always spot on. I always connect. Now it's just general readings. So they're pick a card reading. So she's usually got 4 cards with a different stone on each one. And she, it might be a different theme of what are your healing powers for the world? And it might sound a bit, am I really going to take anything from that? But then when you pick that card and she starts reading, it's like, oh, this is speaking to me so much.
Yeah,
so
I actually went and did a tarot course, so I don't do it for anybody. But if I have a question, I either go to my Archangel Oracle cards and I just pick one card. So I'll shuffle, ask my question, and then when for some reason I can't shuffle anymore, it gets jammed. I know that that's it for me. That's my little thing that I've got going on with up above, and so I pull that card, and it's so funny because every time I'm feeling like there's a stumbling block happening in Fiji with a project that we want to do here, like, with this big health and wellness, conference center, retreat, wellness center. Like we want our team around the world just to use it and have fun, like it's going to be an exciting thing. But obviously we're just seeing what goes on with COVID at the moment. But every time I ask about this thing, 333 on my phone.
Yeah.
Normally it's 1111. But
Yeah.
every time I ask, go to my cards, and it's just a one card thing that's spread. You know what freaks me out is this one card always comes up and it says your life's purpose. So I know I'm meant to be here, and I know, and I just got to go, okay, let's just keep going.
Don't doubt it.
Just be grateful every day and just keep on. I say a lot of affirmations. So like in this book, I'll show you this quickly. It's amazing. So I've got my 12-month goals all here, but then I've got my affirmations. So everything through this planner is all based around the 6 areas of life. So like I'll say things like, if I'm feeling really crappy about, say, business, right, and because I don't know, something's gone wrong, right, or I've got to fix an issue, or whatever it might be, with this business that we're planning here in Fiji, I'll say things like, so this is the one I used to say many, many, many years ago, and I still say it to this day because I still have bigger dreams still. So I'll say, money comes to me in increasing quantities on a continual basis, and I'm so grateful. Or I'm so grateful for the people and opportunities that come to me and create abundance in our wealth that allows us to achieve our life's purpose. And I'll just say that. And as I'm reading it, I just feel it in my stomach. And you'll know where you feel it.
Yeah.
And, I had I put on quite a bit of weight at one point, just recently. And because I was just getting so bunkered down into some work. And I was like, no, go back to my goals again. No. And so I scheduled it in every day, 30 minutes of work. So now I say, I love my body and my body loves me. And so I try to get that mental health thing away.
Yeah.
I'm healthy, toned, and living my best life. I love to exercise. I hate exercising, but I love to exercise. It makes me happy when I look and feel great. That gets me out of that old mindset of I hate exercise. Oh, it's a hassle. It's taking up time in my day. So I say I love to exercise. It makes me feel good. And when I tell myself that often enough, I go, you know what? It actually does make me feel good when I do it. Because after I do go for a walk or take the dogs up the big mountain, I get back and I actually feel amazing. So, and I say something I have for the relationship one, I find that sometimes I don't have a lot of patience. So I say, I have patience and I'm always present with my children. So after everything we went through, now I really affirm that, and that keeps me always thinking to be present because I say it so often to myself, So when things happen and my child needs me and I'm like, no. And I go back and I'm present in that situation a lot more rather than my mind everywhere. So I love affirmations. They have really changed my life.
I think, to premise that. So I think Bob Proctor has some really good YouTube meditations that people can listen to. And like good wording around affirmations is I am so happy and grateful. And when I did that's his stuff. It's very Bob Proctor. When I did all my affirmations in the diary, I put I'm so happy and grateful, for a few of them, not all of them. But when I got the diary, you guys put together like a video, like a workshop on how to actually set the diary up because it is so detailed as well. It's actually worth watching that video because it sets you up for success, and it's always good to go back and to remember to read it. I mean, you can, with affirmations, you can set and forget things as well because you've set the wheels in motion. But
when you have an awareness around, that time where you go, oh, I'm feeling like this, that's when I just turn the page back to those affirmations.
Yeah.
When I'm feeling like, something's not working, I look at my vision board of all the things that I would love to have in life or where I want to be. And because there's a vision board in there too, like it's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of it's having it with you and having everything in one place that I find keeps me accountable and keeps me going.
And that's the key, is being held accountable to yourself because we can't always have others keep us accountable. So we're going to wrap it up shortly, but what is a 5-year goal from here, Beck? Like how much more can you possibly do or achieve in life to feel like you've really made an impact?
Well, I have a goal to, with our health and wellness company, I want to be one of the, you probably won't understand this, but I want to be one of the first, red diamonds in Australia. So it's a rank where, and so, I mean, it's still very much a ground for opportunity. So you know, why, if I'm not going to grab it, someone else is going to come in tomorrow and run with this opportunity and experience amazing things, because, you know, it has been designed so that average people can succeed. You know, the owners aren't interested in making money. So this is about changing lives. And that's what I loved about it. I find network marketing a lot of hard work and very little reward. But what I found was this was actually really changing the industry. So, so yeah, I have a really huge goal to be that first person, and I'm already one of the top global leaders now. And then my goal is to, I guess, build an amazing hub here in Fiji where anyone around the world can come here and have some fun. Fly into our home. It's going to be an amazing, you know, 5-star kind of resort, come wellness retreat, come function, where we can get together, we can have some fun, we can go jet skiing, snorkeling, waterfalls, and then in between we can do some training and have some fun around, you know, business, personal development. But then my other goal is to grow this lifestyle company, and to really get that out there, and then to run retreats around the lifestyle company, so that so I might do one lifestyle company event a year, and then that will be around the 6 areas that I talked about, and I'll bring in a keynote speaker from each of those areas, and it's one huge event a year. And I just want to, yeah, so that's my, I guess, my end game of where I see myself. And I guess living between Australia, Fiji, this will be our main home, I guess, like our where we are most of the time, because but being able to travel, the kids do homeschooling, so we really can just be anywhere. So once this world gets back on track again, that is definitely
the goal. Amazing. I love the sound of that. Yeah. So keep a spare room for me at your retreat.
Yep.
I'll be there.
But the land is so big here. I think we're gonna already, people are like, is there like just like one little section I can just build like a little holiday home on? I'm like, absolutely. It's like, well, we're on 130 acres here, so there's plenty of room. But yeah, everybody's always ringing me going, we want to build a home there, get away from this world. And yeah, so it's hilarious. But yes, there's definitely room.
Good stuff. All right. Well, it's been amazing, Beck. Thank you. It's been incredible.
No worries. Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all. I think we'll do another podcast with the spiritual stuff. That's my listeners always love listening to stuff like that. Also, we are in the process of putting together our first women's networking event here in Queensland on the Gold Coast / Brisbane. We're just trying to sort out a few finer details, and then we're going to announce it online. So Beck, obviously you're going to be part of that as well as a guest speaker. We're going to make sure that you're a part of it. Yes. And we're going to talk about stuff that we've just mentioned today, some of the components from the Lifestyle Co, and so obviously some golden nuggets that you've shared in other previous seminars and what have you. I guess, is there anything you want to leave the listeners with?
Oh, if I can leave, you know, you with anything, it would be that, you know, you really are the average of the 5 people that you hang around. And so, you know, I totally believe in, you know, success doesn't have to come at a cost, you know, in terms of, you know, like what happened to me in the early days where we were all just completely bunkered down, and then my kids suffered, you know what I mean? Success doesn't have to come to a cost if you do things correctly, which, you know, we do now, obviously, and that's why we developed the planner, because that's what worked for us. But, you know, it does come at a cost in terms of, I guess, finding out who your friends are, you know, and things like that. So I truly believe that, you know, don't listen to the people around you, the naysayers, the people that, you know, I guess I call them dream stealers. You know, really, you are in charge of your own life. It's your life you're living, and you're the author of it. And, you know, if we fail our way forward in life. And so just rewrite the chapter and just go out there and do it, and just be around the right people that raise you up, high five you when things are going well, and just have fun. That's the key, is have fun doing it. If it's not fun, you're doing it wrong.
If you want to be featured on my Instagram, please take a screenshot of this week's episode and tag @amanda.m.micallef on your Instagram stories. For all coaching, Kyani and public speaking inquiries, please see the description below. And if you want to learn more about today's guest, their details will be in the description below also. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment your feedback below. All feedback is welcome to help us improve this podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode.